welcome in our fundamental guest on the show, Avinash Gorakshakar, founder and head research of Avinash Mentor Research Services. So you heard the management. They're confident of achieving the FY26 target of 500 crore revenue. Margins are expected to be around 20 to 24% band, and FY27 revenue target stands at 650 odd crore. How are you looking at this counter at the current valuations?
No, I think Swamit, if you ask me, this is a company where I think few years back, nobody could believe them that they could do this. I think looking at the kind of commentary the management has given and the kind of new products they plan to launch, I think very clearly this has become a very talked about stock. And I think numbers, clearly show that I think results have started coming in. We could see a stronger FY27 and a very strong second half. In fact, hopefully the execution of all these products is right and the launches are on time. I think you could see a very strong jump in profitability in the second half. It's a rather illiquid stock, Swamit. So maybe price action may not immediately take off because the stock has appreciated quite significantly. But I think those investors who are holding on can hold on. I think once the third quarter numbers are out, we get a fresh view from the management on the growth commentary and on the future expansion plans. At that point, I think a fresh review can be considered. But till then, I think it's a hold from our side.
Okay. Well, as I was mentioning, that's the counter that remains in focus. It's up nearly 30% after the data shows that promoters have bought shares from open market. Let's get in Varsha with more details on that story.
Well, yes, thank you so much for that. This is the biggest intraday move since listing. Trading volumes are more than 30x of its 20-day average. And if you see, stock is up 19% in the last 5 days, 40% in the past 30 days. Now, why the stock is buzzing? Because the promoter group Gandhar Coals and Mines have bought 1.4 lakh shares from open market. The total value of the deal stands at around 216 odd crore. And the post-transaction, if you see, promoter group holds almost 1.55% stake in the company. The shares were acquired at an average price of around 154 rupees per share, and the promoter is buying shares at companies since December 8. Now, talking about the outlook and management when it comes to vision, well, they're expecting India demand momentum to remain firm, and they expect global demand to gradually stabilize, and the full year volume growth is expected at around 10 to 12%, while Q2 gross margin, if you see, is expected to improve in next 2 quarters, and historically H2 has always been better than H1. So overall, talking about the Q3 and Q4, the management is confident when it comes to the upcoming 2 quarters, and there we'll see wherein the H2 will be far better than H1 overall.
Avinash, coming to you on Gandhar Oil, definitely promoter buying from open market is a positive sign coming in. But as Varsha was mentioning, that second half is usually better for this stock. So at the current valuation, suppose this 13% up move that we have seen, is it still in the buy zone?
Yeah, I think Swamit definitely looks to be quite attractive. But my sense is that, I think the first half was not very exciting. The second half typically is supposed to be a stronger ramp up kind of period for the company. So I think, Q3 once numbers come out, I think that would give a better indication. Buying the stock after a 13% spike is not a wise decision according to me. So I think, we would prefer to wait for a mild correction. Although this news is definitely positive that the promoters have bought shares from the open market, I think it makes sense to wait for some time, let the stock cool down. And I think at lower levels, maybe it could be a good entry point. So longer term, yes, I think we are positive. But in the short term, I think it's better to stay put for some time and only consider it as a whole.
That's with regards to where Gandhar Oil goes. Of course, the stock is up 13% as we speak.
Avinash, any view on Sai Cell Kalamandir at current valuations?
No, I think Swamit, it operates in a very niche market, and as Anushi rightly pointed out, quarter 3 is going to be important because typically, in this third quarter, the festival quarter, you see a good ramp up in revenue and profits. The same store sales growth has been quite impressive. I think the company, if it maintains this run rate and if it opens new outlets, I would not be surprised that the second half would be significantly better. But I think it's a thinly traded stock, not much of institutional coverage, and not held by large ultra HNIs or family offices. So I think this is largely a retail stock. So I think investors need to take a slightly longer term kind of time frame if they need to invest. It's a good product, it's a good business, but I think over the next 12 to 15 months, one can see a decent risk.